This is the Travel and Tourism Show on Star FM.
Good evening and welcome to the Travel and Tourism Show on Star FM, sounding good all the time. I'm Mazwi Shamu. This is the month of August, the month of legends, #legendary on Star FM. This is the month we celebrate all things legendary, and we are celebrating our heroes. We have in the studio today, once again, Dr. Karikoga Kaseke, who is going to talk to us about the significance of our heroes' holidays, the significance of the monuments that are associated with the heroes' holiday, and give us tips and advice on how we can conduct ourselves and places we can go, things that we can do during the holiday. Dr. Kaseke, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Mazwi.
Holidays are here. Tell us, what does the heroes' holiday mean to Zimbabweans? What is it all about?
Okay, when we are talking about the heroes' holidays, we are really going back into our history. We are celebrating our history. That's how I want to sum it up. Because Zimbabwe did not just come from Norway. Zimbabwe got its independence after a hard and protracted liberation struggle. This is the struggle that started in the 1880s, pre-colonial. That was the first Mrenga. And then there was the second Mrenga, which then brought us this independence that we are talking about. So heroes' holidays are meant to celebrate those, not only in this second Mrenga, but even in the first Mrenga, those who did sacrifice their highest price. When you talk about your highest price you can give to your own nation, is you are sacrificing your own life, and you are saying, I am dying for my country. And it's a very, very high price which most of us should celebrate.
At the Heroes Acre, there's a Heroes Monument. Mm-hmm. Monuments are very significant within the tourism industry.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this monument and how it contributes to our tourism industry?
When we're looking at monuments, we are just looking at them from a heritage, a historical point of view. We are looking at our heritage, and the heritage gives us our past. And this is a past that gives us our identity. When we are looking at our, for example, at the National Heroes Acre, which is a national monument, we are looking at it as from a heritage tourism point of view. We are simply saying that this is a place that signifies what I've just told you in your first question. And we are simply saying that we, as Zimbabweans, must be proud of our history, which is now depicted by the monument at the National Heroes Acre. But that's not the only monument. There are monuments all over the country. For example, the greatest monuments we have ever had is the Great Zimbabwe Monuments, where our name as Zimbabwe comes from. So monuments historical, and they depict to us what we should celebrate from a heritage tourism point of view.
When people hear Heroes Acre,
yes,
they think of a cemetery, they think of a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're saying, there's more to this place because it has history, it has our history. People who have been very significant in our past have been buried at this particular place.
That's true.
What advice can you give to people about visiting the actual monument itself? Can anyone access it?
No, it's meant to be accessed by anyone. We are very much aware that most of the people do not know that they can decide as a family to go and visit our Heroes Acre. They must go and visit our Heroes Acre anytime they think they want to visit our Heroes Acre. Especially school children, even during schools. It should be the practice of every school to make sure that they put a program for our kids to know the history of our nation, and they must know the heritage that these people have left for us. So they must have school holidays that should be going to the Heroes Acre and get guided tours and be informed about this heritage we are talking about, which is a national monument. But even on holidays, kids can go on their own and their parents and see for themselves the heritage that has been left by the liberation heroes that are buried at the Heroes Acre. So the Heroes Acre is open for everybody to visit, and we would want people to know our history, but they cannot know our history. Yes, they learn the history in the schools, but they must come and see what the nation has done to honor those heroes and see the heroes laid to rest at the Heroes Acre.
You're right in that. And in a way, heritage and cultural tourism, I think, builds national pride as well. Like you're saying, when school children go there, when people go there, they get to understand their past better. They get to understand who they are as a people. As we are encouraging people to go to these places, as we are in our holiday period, one of the things that I've noticed is that we now have a lot of congestion within our destination. How can things like this be alleviated or made better for the tourist who's visiting or trying to move from one place to the other? What are you doing as the tourism authority to make the situation better?
Yeah, as the tourism authority, we can only, like I said, remember I talked to you on the last program when I talked about the nature of tourism, how collaborative it is. It demands collaboration. Tourism, by its very nature, cannot be a one-man's band. Tourism is, like I told you, is a very highly collaborative. So we can only, as a nation, put our heads together and look at the problem that you're talking about, congestion. How do we look at congestion? Who are involved? A lot of ministries, a lot of players are involved in this congestion, and we must then come up with a solution which we must all agree to and implement. Congestion, yes, it becomes quite a problem at some parts of this country. At some times, not always, and we need to deal with this congestion decisively, but we need to talk with all those we believe who contribute to the alleviation of this problem. Yes, but one person should start. And I think you are right, that we as the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, we should call for this congestion to be dealt with. So if no one calls for a meeting of all stakeholders who are involved, no one will then attend the meeting. So I'm happy that you have assigned that assignment to us as Zimbabwe Tourism Authority.
Absolutely.
And watch, you will see what we are going to do.
That's good news.
Thank you.
Especially considering that you're the ones who've been pushing for domestic tourism. And so
Yes.
now when people are moving, people should move freely.
That is true.
Now that you've addressed the issue to do with congestion and to do with our systems functioning better, tell us about Sanganai. When is it happening and how is it happening?
Well, thank you very much for asking me that question. I think Sanganai is something that is very close to our heart. This year Sanganai is taking place from the 6th to the 8th of September. That is next month, during the first week of next month. So we are very much ready for Sanganai. We have been doing a lot of work in the background, and so far we have got about 180 buyers have confirmed coming to our Sanganai. Our target was 250, and we still think with the 3 weeks that are remaining that we can still reach that target. So Sanganai is not Sanganai when there are no buyers. Sanganai is a meeting of sellers, but sellers, they should be selling to someone. Who do they sell their products or their wares to? Like any marketplace, you must have buyers. So buyers are coming to Sanganai. 180 buyers have confirmed, and we hope that the 250 we targeted will be achieved and easily achieved. And I think we are very happy with our preparation so far. Exhibitors, yes, over 250 exhibitors, those are the sellers of the products, are already registered, and the space is almost all taken up.
Is this ZITF?
ZITF, yes. Okay. The space is almost taken up. The halls that we reserved for Sanganai, hall 4, 3 and 5. Hall 3, 4 and 5, if I put it that way. All the halls have been full, and we are very happy with the response of the people to Sanganai. And like we are saying that Sanganai is aimed at reviving the tourism economy in Bulawayo. That's one major objective of Sanganai. We want to see it by the end of the day. We want to see some improvement in the tourism economy in Bulawayo, because the tourism economy in Bulawayo went through a very hard dry spell, and we think we must do our level best to revive it. And we are seeing the results of our Sanganai. I think not only Sanganai, but we are seeing an improvement in the tourism economy of Bulawayo.
That's a lot of exhibitors. Which markets are we looking at? Who's coming in?
Okay, from the buyers, we're looking at our traditional markets. Our traditional markets are those from West Europe. That is the United Kingdom, Germany, France, mention any Western European country. And we are expecting our traditional markets to come in their big numbers. And from the United Kingdom, we are very happy with one of a buyer organization called ATA. ATA is ATA, Africa Tourism and Travel Association, that is based in the UK, and they are coming as a group. They've arranged themselves and they're coming as a group, and there'll be more than 50 buyers from ATA, from the United Kingdom
That's a
itself.
big organization.
Yeah, and we are simply saying this Sanganai this year is quite different in nature, quite different in structure from the other Sanganais we have held. And the other thing that is important about our Sanganai this year is our minister has invited her colleagues from SADC, and almost every other minister from SADC has agreed to come for a ministers' roundtable meeting that they're going to have at our Sanganai this year. So in terms of preparations, I think we are just on course.
I am speaking to Dr. Karikoga Kaseke, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, and we are looking at issues to do with our Heroes Holiday at the moment. I've noticed that national monuments, and I look at the Great Zimbabwe structure, they are guarded. And at times, you even see UNESCO World Heritage Site. I can think of Matopos as well. What is the significance of that?
It's a symbol of importance. By guarding these national monuments does not, it simply signifies how important it is to the nation. That's the main reason why we guard them. And we are not saying that the Heroes Acre can be attacked, yes, but it's very remote. But we're simply signifying the importance of the Heroes Acre. It's a symbol of importance.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's interesting, because I think it also puts it on the world map.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
if
true.
it's under UNESCO.
That is true.
And we have several of these, isn't it?
That is
within
true.
the country.
Yeah.
So we all know, we've just been talking about it, that there's a drive at the moment to get people into Zimbabwe to visit their destination, which is all fair and fine. We are trying to get the domestic market involved as much as possible. We're talking about heritage and cultural tourism at the moment. So when we're looking at our tourism industry, they are clearly demarcated. You can't get it wrong. We can see the business tourism. We can see cultural aspects of our tourism. But are there any distinct segments for different target markets? For example, things that the youth can enjoy. If I'm talking about national monuments, for example, and I'm talking about the Heroes Acre, can it be further developed to accommodate various types of travelers, not just travelers that are attracted to that?
Okay, when we look at the segments, when we want to segment our markets by age, yes, there are a lot of activities that involve the young people, especially those activities that are adventurous in nature. We don't expect an old woman or an old man like me to go to Victoria Falls and bungee jump. We expect the young to go to Victoria Falls and do bungee jumping, go swinging, and everything else adventurous, whitewater rafting. These are for people who are fairly young, and we have a lot of other activities that are, apart from the ones that I've mentioned, that are for the young people, that are for the youth. But yes, true, they're not properly geographically spread in the country. So they tend to be concentrated in one area, and that concentration in one area makes that area maybe the only tourist destination for the young people who want adventure. But there's a lot of plans which we were working on with this, with the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Senator Priska Mfumira. You know that there is the desert land, and Africa does not have a certificate for a desert, if to put in African desert land. So Zimbabwe has been lucky because the certificate was given to South Africa, but the investor thought Zimbabwe is the best place to put a desert land, and we have identified a site in Benga where we think that desert land would be, and the investor is a very serious investor, and these are some of the things that will also accommodate the young. But it's not only for the young, it's for all ages, but the young will be very much accommodated in that area. So basically, let's watch and see how this comes out. And I want to be very honest with you. The investor is Medbank, led by Mr. Ino Kamshinda, with his South African partners. And I would think they are very serious, very, very serious investors. And they will not let us down. We can only let them down ourselves.
Wow.
So I don't think with the drive that our minister is having, there's any room for us letting them down. We think our minister is very passionate about tourism. She is a surprisingly a tourism person, but she has been in tourism for only less than 8 months. But she is doing extremely well in terms of her leadership, and I think, especially on the investment side, we think we're going to get a lot of investors in the tourism sector. Yes, most of the things that we're talking for the young people, they need infrastructural development. We must put the infrastructure for the young people to partake in the activities that we were talking about much earlier.
I am so excited. I actually can't contain it. I think you've let out some secrets there on purpose Disneyland.
There is no secret about investment. Zimbabwe is open for business, and
Absolutely.
we must be open about it.
Absolutely.
There's no need why we should be secretive about investment. When someone wants to invest in the country, we must talk about it, and we must talk about it, not to put pressure on him, but to talk about it in a manner that prides ourselves. Our Vice President, on the 29th of July, our Vice President we led the groundbreaking ceremony of a Grand Prix in Victoria Falls. So this is the only Grand Prix in Africa anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, that will be the first Grand Prix in Africa. So there are a lot of first things that are going to be, Zimbabwe is going to score a first in a number of areas.
Absolutely.
So in terms of this Grand Prix, it's already under environmental impact assessment, and I think we are going to see construction going up within 3 to 6 months.
Zimbabwe is definitely on a roll. Disneyland coming to Zimbabwe, Grand Prix
coming to Zimbabwe.
Coming to Zimbabwe. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. And yes, it will cater for the different types of tourists that we have, like the youth, like the grey market, and everyone else who's in there. My question is, you mentioned that Disneyland will be in, you're
Benga,
thinking of the Benga area.
The Disney World, the owners of the license of the Disney, they identified Benga, and they think Benga is the best place where they can have an African Disney.
Wow. My other concern, though, is in the sighting of the Disneyland. Of course, I'm very excited. I think I'll be one of the first people to be there at Disneyland. But in terms of just thinking of it from a tourism perspective, my other concern of the sighting of the Disneyland is that it's the people within the area are very cultural. How are you going to preserve or help them preserve these cultures so that as more people come along and as more people come to the destination, they don't disappear, or they don't
lose their identity?
They don't lose their identity and adapt to other people's identity. This is where the Tonga people are.
Yes, that's true. Plans are there, and definitely don't be concerned. I really assure you, they will not lose their identity.
plans are there.
Yes.
Okay, so that one we can't hear.
Yes, plans are there.
All right. We are running out of time, and Dr. Kaseke has come to talk to us about holidays and heroes, and he's let out a couple of exciting things about things that we should look forward to within the tourism industry in days to come. Do we have a time frame?
So the Grand Prix is likely to take shape in terms of construction within 6 months from now, because there's a lot of things to be done in terms of environmental impact assessment. So the environmental impact assessment will take at least 6 months for the Grand Prix to start off the ground. But the good thing about it, it will be noise controlled. So the noise won't get out of that complex, because it will be built with enclosures that will protect the environment from the noises. You know, these motor racers make a lot of noise. So the noise will not go out of the walls.
Yeah.
So that is the good thing about this one. And it's not only the Grand Prix. This investor is also investing in a 300-bed 7-star hotel. That's what he's putting up. We're going to have a first 7-star hotel in Victoria Falls. Wow. It's 300 beds, but that's not enough. He's also going to put up a medical resort, which is more rehabilitational in nature. Yes, it will cater for every other medical alignment, but it will be more for a rehabilitation center. So apart from that, he's also putting up the convention center. Remember, I'm very much thinking about the UNWTO General Assembly we held in 2013. We did not have a convention center. We had put up tents to have the UNWTO General Assembly outside in a tent. But that was not the best thing, but that was what we could only do. So there's going to be a convention center, world-class convention center, from the same investor, and a shopping mall also from the same investor. So these are things that we are very proud of, and we are very much geared to see their implementation to the final.
When we say Zimbabwe is open for business, we mean it. It's no games. And as Dr. Kaseke has just been talking and saying, all these different investments, for weeks we've been asking, where's the investment? What's happening? And he's just explained everything that's happened. And we can see that the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority has also done its homework, because he talked about the environmental impact assessments and the noise factors, and how all of those, and the cultural preservation, all of those factors have been taken care of.
Definitely.
What advice can you give to travelers? It's holiday season.
Okay, those who are looking to coming into Zimbabwe, I'm very happy with them, because as I'm telling you now, most of our hotels, if not all of our hotels in the resort areas, are full. I'm simply saying my advice is that those who are wanting to travel, those who wish to travel during holidays to any tourism resort, my advice is, please, at the moment, Zimbabwe is requiring you to book in advance.
That is exciting. Dr. Kaseke, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you, Mazwi. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Until next time, happy traveling.
Thank you for tuning in to the Travel and Tourism Show on Star FM.